We are live. Let's go. I got my little poppy here. Gonna drop this here. Hold on. Here we go. Pat, can you hear me? Oh no, we are not live.
Yes.
You're not live.
I can hear you.
Okay, that's cool. We're gonna go live right now. I said we are live. We didn't even go live. So that's not cool. All right. We are live. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Landline. Another episode. When I say episode, I mean another week of the Landline. We're gonna get some little technical difficulties here figured out. For those that have never joined us ever, welcome. This is a participatory live. You can obviously listen in if you'd like, but you can come backstage. And let me pull this up here. I'm going to pull up what we got here for this week, guys. I'm pumped. People are backstage. We already got someone backstage. Pat, if you can drop in the comments how people can get backstage. And then we can go into this. Alrighty. Guys, we're going to jump in as we always do every single week into some of what we're seeing in the market. And then we will go into questions, Q&A at the end as always. So if you guys want to enter backstage, we already have one person backstage. Let's go. Guys, drop in the comments down below if you'd prefer to have this weekly live at 5 o'clock versus 4. My sister-in-law went into labor last week, and now I have a little niece, which is super cool. But I was unable to switch it to 5 o'clock. We're thinking about switching it to 5 o'clock. But just let me know if you like in the comments down below. If you like the 5 o'clock switch, if you would like the 5 o'clock switch versus the 4 o'clock every single week. That's Eastern Standard Time. So cool, guys. So for those that are not normally in the weekly live, at the beginning, I go through kind of what I see is important in the market. So welcome back. We're starting to close out to 2025. And if you're serious about making 2026 a year, you finally buy back your time. You finally get in control of your business. This is your moment, right? Today, we're going to break down exactly how to quit your job with land investing, the freedom formula that we've put together that set up operators to have their breakthrough year in 2026. It's not about hype. It's not about overnight wins. It's not about guru promises. It's about building a system that gives you options for freedom, not fantasy. Now let's kind of jump right into it so you can understand where our mind is here. Most people don't know that my background is actually before real estate I started selling chocolate, right? It was a good business, but it was a wrong vehicle. I learned when I was selling chocolate the hard way that hustle doesn't necessarily equal freedom. I found land. It was super simple. There's a lot of leverage, a lot of clarity. And the first year I did over 650K. That's when I realized that in that first year, because of my background, because of kind of having to make it all happen that first year, that freedom wasn't about luck. It's about a formula, right? The land market right now, despite what people are saying, when we're hearing a lot of people talk about, hey, the land market is difficult, competition is up, it's crashing. We don't really see that internally on our team, right? We see that rural transactions as a general is that they're down about 12% year over year, which is significantly, but price per acre is steady or rising in key states like a lot of people are in, Texas, Tennessee, Florida. Foreclosures remain roughly 40% below pre-COVID levels, which means that the noise is gone. What left is margin for people who are skilled. In 2026, we are seeing getting into will reward the people who are structured, who actually have a structured system, right? And if you've joined us for weekly lives in the past, you know that I've talked a lot about creative financing, owner financing, partnering smart, and analyzing tight. You will win. This coming year, in my opinion, is the window for landmen to build foundational wealth while others sit on the sideline. And if you're involved in this business at all, you realize that more and more people are leaving the industry, which is actually a tremendous opportunity. We're loving it. We're doing the best that we've ever done this month. And we are really, really strong. We just got an offer on a deal. Buy for 100, sell for 300. We just got an offer. Literally, I was right before this call. I'm actually closing. I was supposed to close. I didn't have enough time, but I'm closing on a transaction. We're going to make 30K on it. So things are looking good in the land space. I think a lot of people got out because they were immature. They had immature businesses, and there's more opportunity. I actually just got off with someone in the Landmen Challenge. In the part of the Landmen Challenge, we have what we call the fast track. The fast track is Landmen Challenge is 4 weeks of implementation, which the first week is actually coming up in at the beginning of December. Pat can drop the link for Landmen Challenge if you're new, if you're interested in that. But one of our fast track members, who's now going to be a part of the deal engine, got a deal under contract for $60,000. She closed on it, and after she closed, we re-looked at her numbers. And she's going to be able to subdivide it and potentially sell it for $300,000. Buy for 60, sell for 300, right? And man, who's gonna complain at 200K of profit, right? But it's all about looking at deals correctly. It's all about the creative financing that we've talked about in previous episodes. It's becoming a professional, right? It's really becoming a professional and understanding what are the things that I need to do in my business in order to get an output, right? Just like if you are training for a marathon, you would not focus exclusively on swimming or lifting weights. You would do the things that you need to do in order to be successful with the marathon. But I find a lot of land investors in general are not doing the things that they actually need to do. They're not focusing on the revenue producing activities, which is why people are leaving, because they were sold a bill of goods. Imagine being sold, hey, you only need to run a 100-meter dash, and it ends up being a marathon, right? That's what I feel like a lot of land investors were sold. They don't realize that year one, man, you're getting the business fundamentals down. 90% of people, 95% of people, or probably greater, don't actually make money in the first year in running a business. But you're sold the bill that you can make $1 million in your first year. And look, this is the long game. This is building a legacy building business that we can go from someone that's flipping dirt in lots in Mojave County to developing subdivisions and making multiple 7 figures on a deal. Expect it to be difficult, right? Expect it to be, let's say simple, right? But not easy, right? That's the difference. So let me bring in the headline that actually matters, right? So this month, the Carlyle Group, huge, multi-billion dollar real estate group, announced that it raised $9 billion for U.S. real estate fund, even in this tight capital market. And this is directly from Reuters in August of 2025. Now, what does that matter to us? Now, institutional money is doubling down on real assets. Land and development sites are becoming a preferred inflation hedge, which means that there's less competition and more premium for those who structure this well. When big capital starts to move into your niche, even though they're not directly a part of our niche, in real estate in general, we can already see that this is a signal. There is the big boys are looking for these types of properties, right? They're looking for real assets that you can touch. And we all know with inflation going crazy, man, I'm looking at butter the other day, Kerry Gold. My wife told me that Kerry Gold was $8. I remember just 5 years ago it was $3, the butter. So here is a 6-step freedom formula for you. Number one, if you have a job, keep your job for now. If you want to get into land investing, you want to save at least $25,000 minimum. You want to target counties with over 100% sell-through rates over the last year. You want to buy at 50, 60% of retail value, and you want to sell these properties fast. You want to price them to sell in under 6 months, and you scale with other people's money using funders. That's how you replace income intelligently, not recklessly. You want to make sure that your job funds your learning curve. Because unlike what people say, the gurus, the people that are trying to sell the course, this business does take time. It does take money. Now, is it incredible? Will it build a lifestyle business that you can essentially be working from anywhere? That's one of the reasons why I really, really like it. Absolutely. But you got to be prudent. You got to be thoughtful. And I've seen too many people quit their jobs before they actually have the stability in their business to operate and actually scale this business, right? So that is one thing. So one thing I want to tell you about a deal that we did earlier this year. For those that are new, we bought this deal, Poly Thicket Road in Tennessee. We bought it for $225,000. We sold it in 20 days later. 20 days later for $430,000. We made over $205,000. We didn't get lucky on this deal. We stress tested it. We assumed that it would be a 12-month hold. We made sure we cleaned it up. We put about $15,000 into it to ensure that it was ready to sell. We find in 2026, we're going to focus on really nice parcels, not trying to make a deal work if it's not a good parcel. So if you want to scale and actually build your business in 2026, let me tell you a little bit about what we do with our clients and the Landmen Challenger in general, what I would recommend you do, right? Figure out an average profit per deal. Let's just say your average profit per deal is $25,000, right? You do 20 deals, 24 deals per year, just 2 deals per month. That's $650 or $600,000. Imagine you do 40-day deal cycles. That means you have 4 months to acquire these 24,000. So that's 6 deals per month, 1.5 per week. So you need about 60 leads per week. In a small team, you only need 2 lead managers, 1 admin, maybe 1 dispo, maybe an acquisition manager. It's about finding the people that have capacity, right? The true people building this ideal land business. So when you're thinking about 2026, this is kind of my last thing. Think about actually applying the stuff that we discussed in engineering the system, focusing on not quitting your job too soon. If you're interested in that, you can join us for our next Landman Challenge at the beginning of December. But if not, I'm here every single Wednesday. We'll be 5 o'clock. It's now 4 o'clock, but we'll be 5 o'clock. You can bring all your questions in order to make sure that you guys are successful. So we're going to see. We got some backstage people. I am done here for our weekly live. We're going to get right into it. So, Vanessa, I see you in the back of the stage. I'm going to pop you up here so that you can get some headspace. What's going on? Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Clay.
People. What's going on?
Yeah, so I have another property that I needed to be reviewed.
Let's talk about some dirt here.
Yes, sir. I'm sending you the parcel ID. Should I do it here?
Yeah, you can send it here.
Oh, I need to connect to YouTube first. Yep, here.
Okay. Are you dropping it? Where did you drop it? Are you going to Slack it to me or where? Oh,
it's in the private chat. But
okay, private chat.
Okay.
What? Oh, I see it. Yes. All right. What county is this in?
Oconee.
Oconee, baby. Let's go. Alrighty. So we'll pull this up here. Oconee County. South Carolina, that is. So we use, for those of you that are new, welcome. Every single week we go live. And we use Land Portal. Patricia will drop below the Land Portal link. You can use this. I will drop the Land Portal link below, actually. And you can see if you want to sign up for Land Portal, this is what we use in order to comp dirt. And I will share my screen here. So share screen. All righty. Let's get this in another screen so it's easier. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, Land Portal. Okay, we got this. What do you got under contract for?
23.
23. Okay. Do you know what these are? Are these chicken houses?
The one beside it?
Are these chicken? Yeah. Are these chicken houses?
I think so because it's a farm.
Okay. That could affect value. And the only reason why I say that is because chicken houses smell really badly. This is the most bizarre thing in the world. They smell really, really badly. So that could seriously affect your value. Because imagine you going out there with your family and oh shoot, I'm not even sharing my screen. You're going out there with your family and then all of a sudden you figure out, oh my gosh, this is it smells so bad because of these chicken poop. So, all right, Crooks Farm Road. Could you give me the zip code of this parcel? For some reason, the land portal. Oh, here it is. I see it here.
29678.
678. So you got under contract for 20 something again? I forgot.
23.
23?
Yeah.
Check it out. Okay, so what is Seneca? Seneca. Cool. Seneca. Okay, so you're like in this general area. Okay, I will pull this up here. All right. How many total acres is it again? Let me check.
2
2 point. Oh,
27. It's
okay.
1.89.
1.89. I think it's a little high.
Okay.
I think that it is worth. Yeah. Yep. I think that it's probably worth 35. I think it's worth 35. So based on this, that's what I'm thinking. So I think you need to get it for like 16 or ish, Vanessa.
Yep.
But not too far off here. Not too far off. What else you got?
Right. That's just 2 for this week. Another one in Clare County, the one that I showed you.
Okay. Alrighty. If that's all you need.
Yes,
So
sir.
we got someone in the studio. Anything you're good, Vanessa? Anything else you need?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Absolutely, Vanessa. Appreciate you. What's up, man? Is it or uck? Like like ew?
It's Ak. A-U-K, Ak.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on, brother? What can I help you with?
Man, I'm just here to learn from the GOAT, man. I just got into the land game, have
Nice.
a campaign running, so I'm just here listening to everybody and what you got going on so I can have a successful 2026 and be able to get out of IT and do this land thing full time.
Tell me about your business right now, man. What can I help you with?
Oh, your mic is low. Hold on. I might have to log on through Facebook because I can't really hear you. Hold on. See if
All right. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my phone.
It might be. I don't know.
All right.
Pat, can you hear me? Pat,
I can hear you.
Me? Okay, cool. All right. Tell me about it, man. Tell me about your business. What's your model? Maybe I can glean some light on you, man. Help you get on your 2026 way.
Okay. Well, I'm brand new to this thing, like 20 days. I ran a campaign in Bella Vista, Arkansas, and a campaign in Lehigh, Florida. Lehigh, Florida obviously is going to give you a little bit more action just because, that market, but I want to be able to compound my wins, so that within 4 or 5 months I can really, maybe it might take a little longer, but let's say we'll call it 6 months. I'll be able to invest in you with the 30,000 to be able to grow and make those big boy numbers. So right now, I got to crawl before I walk, and I'm just
Yeah.
so I do I send out about 3 hours a day because I have a regular job,
Yeah.
and I message the people back like ASAP. As a lot of people think, their $5 land is worth $1 million. So
That's
you
right.
got to get
That's right.
past the people that are like unrealistic. But I still message them, and I still talk to everybody and try to still convert them. Because just because it's a
What's your
no
marketing? What's
today
your marketing
doesn't mean
channel?
it's a no tomorrow.
What's your marketing channel?
Say that one more time.
How are you getting leads?
I pull it from Prop Wire
Okay.
and kind skip trace right now is how I'm getting my leads.
Are you texting? Are you going after infill lots?
Infill, scattered. Yep.
Cool. Dude, you should join the Landman Challenge. It's $300, dude. It's the best money you'll ever spend. It's in 2 weeks. It's literally $300.
Okay. I'm
It's
listening. Tell
crazy.
me more
It's
about this
crazy.
challenge.
It's like I literally give away everything. I mean, obviously, I have a reason for it. I'm very transparent. Like I'm not here to like. I'm in this business to make money, right? Tell
Mhm.
join the challenge. That's Brian Garcia right there. He's dude, it's $300. You can do the fast track, which is implementation literally with me at a fraction of the cost. I highly recommend it, man. Seriously, we give you the framework of how to do the rural recreational game. You can spice up your game as it is right now, but I hate prop stream or prop wire. Kind skip tracing, we'll give you the tools and the background in the structure to really crush it. So man, I would highly recommend you join us there. Brian, you want to come backstage, brother? How you doing, man? Did you close that deal today? But what you have any other questions for me?
Nope, but I'm probably gonna be in that land challenge because I really want to make some changes and be able to have some legacy for. I have a 7-year-old, so I'm really trying to build up a little legacy for him.
Dude, great. So here's one thing I will tell you from the jump, right? If I could give you some words of advice, we discuss in the challenge and in general the land ladder. There's a sequential way to scale this business, right?
Yes, sir.
It is like going from freshman year to sophomore, junior, senior year. There are things that you need to do in your business in order to effectively climb up the land ladder, go from one stage to the next, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
one of the early things that you're texting, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the early things with texting is getting really good at one channel. Getting very, very good. How many hours a day are you studying? How many are you meeting with your texter? Are you spending the 30 minutes to an hour per day really getting in and understanding how do we improve this? Getting an extra 2, 3, 5 leads per week because you're getting really good at what you're doing is the difference maker. This game is won in inches, not miles. Everyone has access to the same information. The reason why people work with me on a one-on-one basis and in general is because the implementation is what matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actual understanding of the execution framework, the sequence of execution really, really matters. So I would just say, even if you don't join the challenge, which it wouldn't be a good idea to not, but even if you don't, I would focus on, dude, I'm going to become the best texter around because no one else is going to put the amount of effort in because your leads are your engine of this business. So
Right. No, I'm with you. That's why I'm here following you. I've been watching your stuff on YouTube, and I like your style. I like the way that you scaled, and then you started bringing in like your VAs and different things of that nature. So like I understand, like you're right. It's like football. Like it's third and goal. We win, we claw for it, we scrape for it for those inches. And that's what separates people from winning and losing. Some people just not willing to get down and dirty. But yeah, no, I like your style and the way that you implement things. So you and the Apkey brothers, I mean, I really like the way you guys do things, the way you're growing the business, you're going after bigger deals. I mean, you probably still do like scatter lots and small stuff too here and there, because some of the bigger stuff takes a while to come in. But like as a whole, like your process and the way things are going, I'm really, really liking it.
I'm glad, man. I'm really glad that you're getting benefit from it. And look, one thing I will tell you is like, it only takes a couple of deals to really get that momentum that you need. And this business changed my life. And if you do the right things, you focus on the right steps, man, you can do it. So that's one thing I'd leave you with here. We'll jump out with Patricia here, but really nice to meet you, man. I'm glad you're getting benefit from it. I hope to see you in the challenge, and good luck, man. Your month one is a fun time getting in, learning this business. And I'm always here. You can always join us every week. If you got additional questions, I'm here to help.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I will be in the challenge. So I look forward to growing my business with you guys.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Man. Yeah. Cool. So I love that, man. I love that energy of a guy that's out there, getting after it, right? I can tell that he's got that good energy. He can make it happen. That's an exciting time. The beginning of the business. Those that remember the beginning of the business, man. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and all that, which is really, really good to have. And that energy. One thing that I see, people have that energy at the beginning, and they get a couple of losses or some wins, right? And they are affected by the success and failure of their business within a couple of months, right? And the success and the failure of the business comes down right here. That's really where it is, right? So that's super, super good to hear. Pat, I'm going to bring you up here. Do we have any questions from last week or any questions in the community that
Yes.
we can focus on answering?
I have a question from today regarding this topic. It says, if I only have funds for one or two small deals, should I focus on quick flips or try to hold for bigger margins?
I would say that you should not focus on funding your own deals, period, right? Like you should focus on leveraging OPM, other people's money, that is the alpha, other people's money. And especially early on, man, I didn't fund a single deal myself for the first year and a half. And if you look at the opportunity cost of you leveraging your own cash versus talking to a funder and having a funder do it, man, you can get a 5-10x ROAS in investing in your own deals, right? Sometimes you can only get a 100% return or 200% return. So it's all about strategic capital allocation that really defines your success in this business. And the people that really are successful, maybe they're not that much smarter than you, but a lot of times they just are allocating their money differently. They're thinking differently. They're doing things differently. So I would say focus on leveraging OPM. This is what the wealthiest people do in the world. Blackstone, which is one of the biggest asset management firms in the world, they don't use their own money. They leverage other people's money, and they then get a slice of it. And they're a multi billion-dollar firm with dozens and dozens of billions of dollars of assets. It's because they leverage OPM. And one other thing, when I was in the house wholesaling or the house wholesaling world and apartment building world, you do 2 and 20 with the private equity guys, which is 2% acquisition fee, 20% promote. In the land business, it's like 50% for the fundee, or 60% for the fundee. Those are great terms. So that's how I would answer that question. What else we got, Pat? And guys, those who are listening, I see we got over a dozen people listening here. Those that are listening, guys, come backstage, join us. Brian, I love that you're on here, man. Brian, did you close that deal? I want to know. I'd love to hear from you, man. But for those that are backstage, join us here, ask some questions. And in the meantime, Pat, do we have anything else from the community? Any questions from the past week?
Yes, we have another one here. How do I recognize when a county is a velocity market? Are there specific metrics or tools you recommend? This one is from the community too.
Cool. Great question. And she's talking about the Landman community, guys. If you're not a part of the Landman community, highly recommend it. Pat, I'll put in the comments below.
We have the QR code here.
Let's go, Brian. Let's go. QR code at the top. Congratulations, man. I love it. That's awesome. I love it. The wire feeling. You see that little pop in the bank account. That's good, man. You're like, oh, I got that little pop. I love it. So velocity, like we like to use, there's a ton of different sources, man. Land Insights is amazing for the sell-through rate. I know Sumner and Rylan and those guys over there, Kyle Martin. I met them in person this summer. Really good dudes, right? They have a great platform. Land Portal as well. Land Portal is really, really good. We have an above. If you could see, you can sign up with our link with Land Portal. You can use code CLAY for over 1,000 free exports. We use their market selection tool. But man, in land stats too, those are all really good. It depends on where you are at. But man, I would recommend one of those three. We like Land Portal, but they all are really, really good. So that and the way you leverage that is you look for velocity. When I think about velocity, I think about sell-through rate, which I think it's become like just an industry standard term at this point, but it's just like how much inventory is turning over in a specific market over a period of time, sell-through rate. And sell-through rate, what that really looks like is if over the past year, if there's 100 properties on the market today and 100 properties have sold over the past year, that means 100% of the inventory has sold over a year-to-year basis. And then you can look up 6 months and you can look up 3 months. I like 6 months as an indicator. It's a pretty healthy indicator to see the actual velocity of that individual market. I like it a lot. So I like to use the 6 months, and I like to see above 60% sell-through rate, 50 to 60%. Obviously, if it's much higher than that, you got a really high velocity market, very fast market that you could focus on. But yeah, that's what I would how I would answer that question.
Okay, we have a last question related to mindset. You mentioned that hustle doesn't equal freedom. What habits or systems help you make that mindset shift?
For sure. So one of the lessons that really hit me was, I think Elon Musk was talking about it, or maybe it was a reference to Elon Musk, but the guy that owns the grocery store or the restaurant down the street works just as many hours as Elon Musk or any of these deca billionaires. And he makes so much less money. He does so much less financially, right? Why? It's not about hustle. It's about freedom. It's about leverage. And as business owners, we have the ability for this leverage, right? We have the ability to leverage and capital, team members, code, media. But hustle doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to produce the outcomes of success, specifically monetarily in your business, right? So how does this actually transfer, right? So at every stage in your business of the land ladder, every single stage, Pat, do you mind putting the photo of the land ladder that we had here as well that you showed me earlier today? We could put that up on the screen so that people could see it. The one that you slacked me of the the book.
Okay, yeah, sure. Give me
so we are putting together a land ladder, which is the land scaling roadmap, right? It is the roadmap to how do you actually scale this business. And what's really confusing for most land investors, including me personally, is at what level, what do I do, right? What do I actually do? I know what I need to do if I'm instructed to do it. I know at the beginning, what do I need to do? But when I get from like learning this business. Like we were talking with Ak earlier today, he was learning the business. He's learning it right now, and he's full of it, man. I'm like, he's going to crush it, right? He's going to crush it. And what does he do though when all of a sudden he gets to a level he needs to hire someone? How does he train him? How does he manage him? Then what's the highest and best use of his time? The hypothetical extreme of this is someone knows exactly what to do, exactly when to do it, right? And the problem is we're not taught that. When we go and download a course, we're given the information of the course, but we're not given the implementation of the course. The nuance between the nuance between, hey, this, at this stage, and this is the land ladder, right? We'll talk about it here in a second. But at this stage of the business, right, I should be doing this, right? At the beginning, you see on the left-hand side, that's when you're a hustler, right? That's when you're a beginner, you're learning, you're not really sure what you should do. And then you kind of evolve into a hustler, right? You kind of evolve into someone that's working, you're working hard. You might not be working on all the best things. You might be leveraging your time, but you still have a lot of managing a lot of people. You're still doing a lot of IC, individual contribution, and then you evolve into an operator, and then you evolve into an architect. On the fourth person there, and then the last thing is a developer. But we, as land investors, we can go through this entire cycle, which is really interesting. But the question is, how do we get to our goal faster? How do we go from I'm a beginner to I'm a developer, or whatever stage you want to? You might want to just be an operator. You might want to be a developer, right? But that's the question. That's how you really scale this business. It's you know how to allocate your time properly during each stage of the business. And so that's answering your question, why does hustle not equal freedom? Is because you need to know at which stage of the land ladder you are on, and what you need to focus on is your highest revenue producing activity. Me getting on a sales call right now is not my highest revenue producing activity. That's not. Me sending out texts, me deciding where we're targeting our market selection. Like, I haven't looked at that in like a year, because I have team members that do that. And so I can do something differently. I have team members that love what they do, and they do that in that way. And that's how you actually scale the business. So that would be my answer to the question.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone else has another question.
I don't think we might not have any other people. I know we got over a dozen people joining us live. If anyone wants to join us behind the stage, we have a couple of people behind the stage right now. But if there's any other people that want to join us, we can. Pat, do we have any questions from previous weeks?
Yes, let me look for another question. Give me a second.
Cool. So guys, one thing that I would say is, like, what we're experiencing in our business right now, which is really interesting, is that we're sort of getting into the end of the year lull. Our team members believe this, right? It's kind of the end of the year lull that, hey, sellers aren't going to be willing to sign a contract now. Whatever excuses we make, right? We make personally, we make mentally. And the reality is, at this point of the year, like, this is the separation season between now and the end of the year. And the excuses that other people are going to make, you'll be able to capitalize on them. Oh, well, sellers aren't going to sell deals between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay, we're going to just keep working harder and keep pushing through. That's not going to stop me. I can do it. I know I can. I'm a champion, right? And in years past, we have not found a massive slowdown between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? And so we just push really, really hard. We just keep going. We just keep pushing hard because I believe that this is what will dictate our Q1. Our Q1 will be dictated by the actions that we make right now until the end of the year. And so we're really thoughtful about making sure that those actions are aligned to our highest and best focus.
Okay, we have a new question. It says, how much time should I realistically spend on due diligence per deal once I'm up and running?
That is a great question. Well, I would say you got to get it down to a process. It depends on what stage of due diligence. You got phase 1 due diligence and phase 2 due diligence. We think about it in two very deliberate ways. What do I mean by that? Phase 1 due diligence is access, utilities, wetlands, FEMA floodplains, all the things you can actually see on a map, right? Restrictions are phase 2. Zoning is phase 2. Can we subdivide this parcel or not is phase 2. Perk test is phase 2. Environmental, zoning, regulations, restrictions, all those things are in phase 2, right? So if we're thinking about phase 1, man, I can go into phase 1 and easily figure that out in 5-10 minutes, right? I'm going to ask the seller some questions, get a feel for the property, but in my general opinion, I like to trust but verify. I find a lot of sellers don't know the right information, or they intentionally withhold information because they want to sell this property as is. That's the service that we provide, and that's a risk that we take on as someone that's purchasing a property as is. And so that means that I want to trust but verify every single deal that our team gets under contract with. We're calling brokers sometimes. But phase 1 is a 5 to 10 minute thing, right? And then phase 2, of course, once you get a deal under contract, is that extensiveness. Now, in the past, we have thought, hey, should we do all of our due diligence up front, or should we do it once we get a deal under contract? Now, we've gotten pretty good at figuring out if the property is worth what we think it's worth. Of course, we still make mistakes. We had to cancel 2 deals this week because we made mistakes. But as a general rule, we're getting the value right on the front end. But there are some things that we do in due diligence, in the phase 2 part of due diligence, that we just can't do at the beginning. It just wouldn't make any sense, because I'm not going to perk a lot or survey a lot or subdivide a lot before I get it under contract. So when we get a deal under contract, that's when we go a sprint to due diligence. Our goal is to get a deal disqualified as soon as possible for as cost effective as possible, period. End of story. That is how we approach this part of the business model. So we want to make sure that we can get these deals under contract and as soon as possible. And then once we have control of the deal, we go through the phase 2. I think about phase 2 and environmental health. Again, that's perk test. That's a survey, making sure there's a survey. That's calling the county, verifying restrictions, seeing if there's any health issues, making sure that the person that said they were on the deed is the person that is on the deed. For example, we got a deal on a contract recently that the owner owned 33% of the property. Now, the owner said that he was on the deed, which in fact he was on the deed, but he intentionally withheld information from us that was relevant to us understanding whether or not we could purchase the property. And until we did a title search, which cost us money, he promised us that he was the person that owned the property. And it's kind of like, yes, you do own the property, but you only own a portion of the property. We didn't end up asking him those additional due diligence questions because we just trusted him. But sellers will sometimes say that the right thing, which is true. They will say a white lie or a white truth, let me say. And so we really dig in and say, man, verify if this person is the actual right person. But that's after we get a deal on our contract. We want to have control of the deal before we spend a lot of time. There's a lot of human resource. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of salaries that go behind doing phase 2 due diligence. But we want to make sure that when we get a deal on our contract that we can execute. Now, when phase 2 is also around funding, right? So if I'm using a funding partner, if I'm raising money from an investor, I want to make sure that I have my phase 2 due diligence, the perk test, the survey, the restrictions, the zoning, all that information pretty dialed in. Now, I could submit funding. We'll get submissions for our funding. If you're looking for a deal, we'll get submissions, and Pat can put our funding submissions in a link down below. If you guys have any deals that you'd like us to look at, we're happy to look at them with us. But a lot of times we have phase 1 due diligence, and someone will have initiated phase 2, but they want to make sure that it's a good deal. Phase 1 due diligence, we want to make sure that if you're submitting a deal to a funder, and we do this as well before we do any of that, we want to make sure that we have in hand a broker's opinion of value, right? I always want to see a broker's opinion of value. And the problem with the broker's opinion of value that a lot of times we find in land investing is brokers are few and far between, right? Brokers in general, I've found 80% of them, 85% of them are not good at all. It's super easy to get a real estate broker's license. And so that means that it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff, let's just say. So it's even harder to find good brokers. So the way we find good brokers is called the CQT method. We pioneered this internally. This is our method, and the CQT method is something that we created, which is check, qualify, tour. Check is check listing. Make sure this person is a land-specific broker. I could find them on Zillow. I could find them on Realtor, land.com. Q, qualify. Have a conversation with them to understand how much they actually know about land. How many pieces of land have they sold over the past year? Getting that understanding of who they are to see if there's really legitimate. We had a deal that I recently wrote about that we got under contract last year for about, I think it was like $41,000. And we believe we underwrote it for $80,000, right? So we're like, oh man, we're gonna do really well in this deal. We're gonna turn this thing really quickly. And then all of a sudden we called brokers using the CQT method. We qualified the brokers, and 2 brokers told us we would sell for 60. So if any of you are new to YouTube, my YouTube or channel in general, we know you can't buy something for 40 and sell for 60 after closing costs, funding fees. You're not making any money. Usually a funder or lender in general is going to want to be at 50% of market value, period. Maybe 60% if it's a little more expensive, but buying for 40, selling for 60, man, there's no margin there. You can't even do that in the house flipping space with that type of margin, right? So we get this thing under contract. We queue it, we qualify it, we call these brokers. Then we find another broker who's land specific. The other brokers they've sold land, but they were primarily house brokers. Man, we went and we talked to this broker, and he said, listen, you can sell this deal for $120,000 all day. I've sold deals in this area, $120,000 all day. I have the brokers in my pocket. I have the builders in my pocket. I know exactly what's going on. I'm going to show you comparative market analysis, a BPO, broker opinion of value. And I'm going to show you all this, and you're going to be clear. You're going to know you're going to sell this thing, right? We get on the market. We get under contract for $108,000 all cash, close in less than 30 days, within a day on the market. A day. It was actually last year, right at Thanksgiving, about a week and a half from now. So the CQT method is really what we like to do when we're in that phase 2 part of due diligence. And that's what we do every single time. We want to verify with brokers. We want to get a broker's opinion of value, because we find that we sell about 85% of our deals on the market. So what that means is if we sell 85% of our deals on the market, we either self-list them, which I don't recommend, especially if you're a new investor, because it's going to take up too much of your mental bandwidth, or you have a broker list. And you want to make sure you find the right broker. Brokers make or break a deal. And so we have gone away from self-listing, broker list. We've gone towards finding the best of the best using our CQT method. And that's a part of 2 of the due diligence process. That's one thing that I would recommend for you guys who are interested. Hey, I think that I have a good deal, but when I'm going through my phase 2 due diligence to make sure that I can submit it to a funder, in that case, I would recommend making sure that you have that broker opinion of value so that you're super clear. You make sure, hey, I can do this 100%. So that's a great question, Patricia. I'm going to pull you up here. Any other questions here before we might end up here a little bit early, but I just wanted to open up the floor to you.
Well, if no one else has a question, I have a last question from the community. It
Beautiful.
says, what are the top 3 red flags that make you walk away from a deal instantly?
Perfect. That's great. That's a really great question. Again, this is a due diligence question. We find more and more that due diligence is an alpha in this business. Knowing what to do with the parcel, knowing the highest and best use of a parcel, it's alpha, right? It's really, really crazy. So 3 things that make us walk away from a parcel right away. Location, the surrounding area, right? If we have a parcel that is a residential parcel in the middle of an industrial area or a commercial area, or the property is next to a bunch of junkyards. Like we're buying a property under contract, and it was next to a trailer park. But this wasn't just any trailer park. This wasn't a beautiful mobile home park that was perfectly outfitted with amazing mobile homes that were new. This was a true trailer park, the type of place you walk in and get shot if you're not from that area. And the reason why I can say that is because I literally know I talked to a broker and he said people get literally shot in that area, right? So I'm not being prejudiced. It's literally a true fact. So it was a super junky trailer park, mobile home park. And we're buying this thing for 12, selling it for 50 or 60, which is what we thought, to buying it for 12 and selling it for 15. because of the location. What is in the surrounding area? So neighbors are huge, 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 huge. Number two is environmental stuff, right? Of course, the contour lines, this property is too slope. It's not buildable. That's why I love the Land Portal. Land Portal has a buildability matrix. It's really great with the slope, and you can see contour lines. It makes this business so much easier. Environmental stuff like wetlands, FEMA floodplain. If I'm in an area in which it's very, very difficult for me to ascertain whether or not a property is buildable because of the floodplain or the wetlands, I'm killing that deal, man. I'm not doing that deal. It doesn't matter how many other properties or what the price that I got under contract for. If I could double close, I might take a swing at it, right? But most of the time, I'm gonna let that thing fly. I'm not even gonna touch it, right? So that's another one, right? And so the actual location, right? The slope, the buildability, the parcel is huge, right? And I would say the third thing for me is unknown unknowns, right? So stuff on the parcel that the seller did not disclose. Like we've purchased properties or gotten properties under contract with like oil derricks on it that the seller never disclosed, or I remember actually last year we got a deal under contract that was a tire dumping ground. It was freaking crazy. The seller didn't tell us, but this was like the neighborhood tire dumping ground. We got a quote. It's going to be like $10,000 to clean up all these tires. And I was like, dude, do we even want to buy this deal? Eventually, we renegotiated $20,000 down. We're like, look, this is a recreational parcel. Like it's going to be a hunting parcel. It was like 15 acres. It was only on a portion of the property. We removed all the rubber tires, or the tires, obviously the rubber. And that ended up being the right decision, right? That ended up being the right decision, and we ended up making money on it. But we negotiated $20,000 down. But anything like that, that's like, so didn't tell me about that. That's kind of concerning. That would be the three things that I would say. What's your input on double closing? Great question, Nitson Cohen. Look, man, I think double closing is an amazing tool. You want to just make sure you do it correctly. That's really important. And there's a lot of infrastructure for double closing when you're in the land business. It's not as simple as like the house wholesalers, which is like, just double close. It's like, yeah, but like I'm double closing a property in a market that I don't have any pre-existing relationships in. And I am going to make $15,000 or $10,000 on it. What ends up happening is you step over dollars to make pennies. And so unless there's a fat check on it, we tend to like not do it. Our minimum check size is going to be 20, 25K for a double closing. I think it's useful. It just depends on the states as well. You can be in states that are not advantageous for double closing, which of course you don't want to be in those states. It's illegal. But I like double closing. I mean, I think I just did a YouTube video on, it might have released by now, but I did a YouTube video on double closing. We like it. It's useful. You can make money on it. It could be a good part of a good tool in your tool belt, but it does require some organizational lift that most people do not talk about. We found in our business, and I even have a disposition team that helps us. So I hope that's helpful. Nitson, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them. I can answer them, or you can come backstage, but that's my opinion on double closing. Cool. Hope that was helpful, my man. Hope that was helpful. Alrighty, Pat. Any last questions here? We still got a lot of people on here. I want to make sure we can get them value. I can go through one or two other big questions here.
I have another one, but it's about mindset. It says, how do you personally stay disciplined when deals slow down or offers don't get accepted?
Oh yeah, great question about mindset, right? So I find that the person who has a lack of gets more affected here. What do I mean by that? A lack of leads, a lack of opportunity, a lack of offers. If you're over flooded with leads, you don't think about, hey, I'm my mindset's degrading because I'm not getting this deal under contract or whatever. The orienting thought that I have is like, if I do enough volume, I will get the outcome that I'm looking for. Now, I could be a worse salesperson. I could be a worse marketer, which I'm not. But if I could, if I was, I would have to do more. That's it. This is a numbers game. This is a simple business. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's simple though. It's very simple. And so when you commit to the numbers, right? Oh man, what is my COO always says? Oh man, he says something talks emotions talk, numbers scream. I love that, right? Emotions talk, numbers scream, right? Or words talk, numbers scream, something like that. I'm butchering it, but it's true, right? When you commit to the numbers, when you know this is the formula for me to get this outcome, on average, I need to make this many offers. I need to have this many leads. I need to have this many conversations. I need to have this much talk time. You get lost in the numbers. And if you're chasing the numbers, not the outcome will take care of itself. That's like a wooden quote, right? That's like a wooden quote. Why would you go on a cash purchase versus a double close with the benefits of not? Why would you go on a cash purchase? Well, I mean, if the seller wants to close on this Nitsin, that's why you would go on a cash purchase versus a double close. I'm not sure if that answers your question. Hope that does. Vanessa, does that usually mean the site elevation or layout needs to be defined first? In this case, the property is in a floodplain, but you already have home built around the area. So I'm wondering if that affects how we should interpret perk results. That's a really good question. That's Vanessa. I know exactly the deal that you're talking about here. So I'm kind of laughing to myself. What I would say is, and I could bring you up here because I know you're backstage right now, if you can hear me. But I would say for that, just talk to the perk test guy about it. Just talk to the perk test guy. Right? So you'll get all the answers when you talk to the guy who's doing the perk test. So follow up on the DD part. Perk test comes as inconclusive. Oh, this is from inconclusive. Oh gosh. I would price out a topo survey. Yeah, that might need to happen, Vanessa. You know what I mean? That might need to happen. I don't know. I would price out a topo survey. To be fair, I've never done a topo survey in my entire land investing career. I've done a lot of deals, but I've never done a topo survey, and I'm not sure why. Might be my negligence on due diligence, but just never done one. But I mean, I see someone background, Nathan. Hey, Nathan, welcome to the studio, man. The device not connected. You got to connect to the mic before you can. You're welcome, Vanessa. Always good to hear you back here. Nathan, if you want to jump in, I see you're backstage, man. You got to connect your mic here. Good to have you backstage. I know some. Okay, you're connected. Diego is in the studio. We're gonna pop some people back here. Nathan, we like to have people's faces when they come back here. It's helpful for me to focus on the questions. So if I can see your face, it'd be great. I'll pop you in here, man. What's up, Nathan?
How's it going, Clay?
Good, man. Good. Where are you calling in from?
We're in California. I was actually the one. I asked you the question about the double closing, so maybe I will start with that, like emphasize it a little better. So basically, my question was, because at least on this call you haven't spoke about double closing, so I'm wondering if, let's say, the seller have no issue of closing it fast, would you rather go on a double close path? Just, that's the benefit of you not using your own money and not even need to go funding, or you will always rather go with a cash purchase and offer him a quick close?
I'll tell you my preference and I'll explain why, but that doesn't mean that's what you have to do, to be fair. So I like to close deals because I like to control the deal, right?
Mhm.
And unless you have a pretty sophisticated disposition process, and in that case, it might be different. But it's really hard to, like, double closings are not easy unless you have a realtor that can play ball with you. If you got a realtor that can play ball and can list it for you, I would double close, or just like list, have the realtor actually list the property for you, and then you can close if the seller wants to close. But we pretty much close on every deal. Like I haven't done that many double closes, to be fair. Like, I mean, I could say a couple of dozen, maybe a dozen or 20 double closes. Okay. I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay, sorry about
Perfect.
that.
No, you're good, man.
So yeah, you were cutting off. If you can repeat the last sentence. Sorry
Sure,
about
sure,
that.
sure. What I would say is I like to close mostly to control the deal. I like to control the deal. But if you have a good broker, I would just have the broker list the property to double close, and then you just double close. If you double close before you close on it regularly, great. If the seller gets antsy, great. I mean, there's no reason to give up your equity to a funder if you can double close. But if you can't, you just have the funder come in and double close it, or help you close it cash. That's what I would do. But I mean, the reality is we find that we sell most of our deals in the market, 85% of our deals or more on the market. So if that's the case, like universally, like we're trying to double close, we're trying to list with a broker. But if we can't list with a broker, I find depending on the size of your parcel, if it's a smaller parcel, maybe not. But depending on the size of your parcel, it's much easier to just close it and flick it.
Got it. And second question, if I may ask, and I have the time with you. So the reason I brought it up is because all we did so far is double closing and assignment. And so I'm just wondering what will be the benefit from a cash purchase, which you just explained us. But I do feel that our other bottleneck right now, because our main marketing channel, like basically the only thing we're doing right now is texting.
Okay.
And I want to say we're doing it kind of a decent volume. We do like around 150K a month. We developed a bot with JHL. It took us some time to build it in a kind of an efficient way. But the bottleneck is that it doesn't convert to enough conversation, which means not enough people are basically given kind of an agreement to our.
Tell me your numbers.
So let's say it's 150K, 60. I will give an example like of a good month. Okay, so an 150K text leads to 60 people, 50 people that show interest, and 4, 5 conversation of closing them. All that leads to like 2, 3 contracts. So
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
dude. All right, get on Smarter Contact. Hire a texter. We see in our deal engine, right, which is our community, and with private clients, it's 1 in every 20 to 25,000 texts, dude. You should be doing 6 deals per month, period. You should be doing 5 to 6 deals per month. Something's going crazy wrong if you're not. You're at 50% of that. So give up the GHL bot, get on Smarter Contact, right? And that's what I would recommend.
And how would you improve the margin? Basically, go after like bigger lots.
Yeah, what type of lots are you going after?
So rural, like try to go to counties when the STR is exactly like you explained,
Yep.
and the when the 5 acre is more at least minimum of 15K for an acre. So the 5 acre will be 75,000. And when we targeted that, we also add to the list like 2-3 acres, and then we're dealing with a lot of small ones, which leads to a margin of 10 to 20,000, like 10, 15. This is where we are.
What's your average profit per deal? 20,000, you said?
More like 10.
Okay, more like 10. Dude, I'd have to like dissect your. There's a lot of things that you
Yeah, I
can
know.
pull right away. If you're doing 150K taxi a month, dude, you should be getting like 6 deals. You should be doing 100K a month on that
Yeah.
number.
And that's our goal. So let's finish with the last question. So it either going to be land. Do you think jumping on this challenge will be efficient enough where we are right now, or even giving you a call of a consultation and maybe one-on-one to get us to where we are?
I think we should do I think we should do. You can book a strategy call with me because you're kind of a little bit. The challenge is, I think, it's kind of like beginner ish. But I think you just need a couple of tweaks, man. And for your business, a couple of tweaks mean 1 month you're doing 20K,
100K a month. Yeah.
the next month you're doing 100K, right? Like I think for you, it's totally a different ballgame. So I'll drop the link to my calendar tomorrow. Just book a time with me tomorrow, and we'll just do a strategy session, and just kind of figure out where you are. Either way, I can help you tweak a couple of things on that call, and then you can decide what you want to do. But I think you're at the level right now that you don't need a challenge. You need like 1 or 2 things, and your business 5x overnight, like literally overnight.
Glad to hear that. All right, cool. So I'm going to book it right now.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Nathan.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Yep. Yeah. So guys, tweaks like that. The thing is, the guy's obviously smart, right? The guy's obviously smart. He's obviously knows what he's doing. It's just a small little tweaks. And that's what we found, that a lot of times it's just a couple of millimeter tweaks, and your business starts to just produce the outcomes that you're looking for. But the guy's obviously smart. He obviously knows what he's doing. And it's just those millimeter tweaks that he just needs to have 1 or 2 little tweaks. Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna let me put this here. We're gonna end this week here, unless someone else wants to come backstage. We have a little opening for one more person backstage. Okay. Cool. So, guys, one thing I will say this is like I was saying earlier in this call, right? Or the land line. Every single week, you have the opportunity to do the slight edge, little improvements, the 10% improvements that totally change your business, right? And that's literally all it takes, right? But what happens is people try to do too many things. You listen to a call like this, you got all these problems, due diligence, you want to change everything overnight. But the reality is 3 to 5 things per quarter that you can change about your business. 3 to 5 things. And what that does is that requires you to say no to things that are actually good ideas. They're actually good ideas that actually make a difference, that actually move the needle. Because 3 to 5 things is not a lot, but it's enough to give your business that rocket fuel to take it to the next level. So guys, every single week I'm here. I will be here at 5 o'clock if you are joining us every single Wednesday, 5 o'clock. And we appreciate everyone that tunes in every single week. And I will see you guys all next week. If you haven't already, please join us in the Landmen community. Don't please. It's super beneficial. And you guys will really be able to take your land business to the next level. So we appreciate everyone here, and have a great evening.